I knew just about the shoe story and him seeing the machine guns. I didn't know about the next part.
There's a hot woman coming by, and you're like, how does it feel being the youngest billionaire in Texas?
That's a good one. I'm the owner of Defensive Bravo LLC, self-defense and firearms training. My father fled Cuba when he was 3 years old. He didn't know a lot of the story because he was so young, and 2 years before our grandmother passed away, she finally told him exactly what happened and how close they all were from not making it out of Cuba. So first thing he remembers, his first memory that I heard when I was younger was he saw rebels with machine guns running through his backyard. That's the first thing he ever remembers. And that explains to me why my dad was always uneasy around firearms, because his first sight of it was terror. Then his next memory was running in a field while his dad had 2 duffel bags to a plane, losing a shoe, going back for the shoe, his mother saying, "No tiempo, mijo," grabbing him up and him getting on a plane, heading to America with only 1 shoe on. He said when they landed in Miami, they went straight to Macy's and he got his pair of shoes. But that's the only story he ever knew. There's a lot more to that.
So growing up, you didn't know any of this?
New story. And him seeing the machine guns. I didn't know about the next part.
Okay.
And the next part was he had a cousin who worked with the CIA, who lived with them in Cuba, who fought against Castro and the revolutionaries to keep the regime in place. And he died in combat in the street in Havana. And before he died, he saved the entire family's life. There was a little thing called the Bay of Pigs invasion that was supposed to occur at a certain time. My family had land, beach house, lots of property on South Cuba where the invasion was supposed to take place. And the cousin had a radio they had given the family, and he said, "If I ever need to tell you anything, I'm gonna tell you on this radio." He called in and said, "There's an airstrike, everyone get down." So everyone got under the beds. You could hear on the radio, he was telling them to take cover. That was coming in now. He said, "I could hear the planes roaring." You heard the planes roar overhead. They flew off, and it was silent. He never understood why that happened. Then when he found out later, President Kennedy called off the airstrike at that moment when the planes flew overhead, and if they didn't, they would have bombed the beach house, they would have bombed his house, and my entire family would have been wiped out on South Cuba. Thankfully, that didn't happen. And within a week or 2 later, he made that harrowing run across that field onto that plane with 1 shoe.
So let me ask you, how did that lead your thoughts and your motives to do what you're doing now?
This is the country my family ran to whenever communism took everything they had. They were wealthy landowners in Cuba, and then they had only what they could fit in duffel bags when they came to Miami. So I wanted to do all I could to protect my family, and so I went and I got training. I got the most expensive, best training I could find, and I put my nose to the grindstone for a solid year. That started everything. And now I just want to help others do the same.
What's the name of your company?
Defensive Bravo. Defensive Bravo. It means, Bravo is another word for thug or assassin. And the way I try to train is to defend yourself effectively like a professional. And a lot of times that means you're the only one left standing.